Hello and welcome to ZEPHON. I am very excited to be playing this. This is a couple of months ago. There was a Steam 4X Fest, and I had the idea of doing a quick tutorial or a quick review of every 4X game I've ever played. Turns out there's over 30 of those, and I hadn't played some of them in over a decade, so I never actually ended up getting that out in time. But ZEPHON was one game I decided I was going to do a new game during that period, and I'm really glad I did, because ZEPHON rapidly became probably my favorite 4X game. So it's going to be a bit of a tutorial playing on the highest difficulty as the Twisted Mother, which is one of the voice-aligned factions, so more on that in a moment. But anything I do on this difficulty should work on easier difficulties as well. Before we get in, I'm just going to highly recommend settings, turn on Glyph Highlight. Highly, highly recommend. It'll just make your life easier. Alright, so new game. I'll play in single player, nightmare difficulty. I'm not entirely sure what aggressiveness does. I assume it's just a diplomatic AI modifier, so that the AI players behave differently towards you. But loyalty, every point of loyalty is a 1% production boost in your cities, so effectively AI just gets double resources. And then plus 4 levels, so their troops are going to be more effective. Levels do actually matter quite a bit. Everything else is just going to be on standard settings. We've got medium, game speed, standard. Here, I will be turning off Iron Man just for recording safety in case I have a mishap. You know, my mic doesn't pick up and I lose an hour of content or whatever. So I am able to reload if I have to. If you've been following any of the 4X stuff I've done on the channel before, you will know that I am totally okay with dying. I will die on camera, that's not an issue for me. This is just for recording safety. Twisted in the Hollow DLC. Obviously, I am playing Twisted Mother, so we need that. Everything else will be on standard, I'm pretty sure. I might have enabled this. Victory requires defeating NPCs, I'm not sure. Avoiding duplicate random factions, I'm also pretty sure I enabled that because I had 2 AI players roll the same faction once in one of my earlier games, and I prefer the variety. Everything else is going to be standard, including the tech 3.10.0. That's, I believe, the default settings. Everything else, every other setting will be medium, except for wildlife density, which is very low. I think that's the default. I don't think I changed this. But regardless, that's the settings. Everything else on medium. Here's my seed if you want to play a game on the same map as me for whatever reason. And then mutators. We will not be using any of these. These are one-off modifiers to your game. That so like double loyalty effect, weapon damage is randomized plus or minus 20%. So yeah, weapon damage is actually deterministic by default, but you could turn this on to give random ranges to it. And you can see I haven't unlocked some of these. The only one of these that I really particularly like using is What Are You, which restricts you so that you can only research technologies from your own faction. By default, you can research from any faction, it's just more expensive. The AI by default does not research for other factions, and I will choose not to, so effectively I am playing with this on, but I'm just going to leave it disabled for the sake of this, just so I can show that once we get to the text screen. But I will not be researching anything from another faction. And these are unlocked just by beating the game under various conditions. Alright, so I will be playing as the Twisted Mother. So if you are playing this game, Twisted Mother and Hollow Warlord, this is the Twisted in the Hollow DLC. Everything else is a base game. For new players, I'd probably recommend Fallen Soldier. The leaders do have... the leader makes a huge difference because these really affect how the game plays. And there's also somewhat reminiscent of Alpha Centauri, actually, with the leaders having a ton of personality and having a little bit of their own personal story. It's quite well done. There's just so many things I like about this game. So yeah, Undying. Your units regenerate hit points every turn. Highly recommend this if you want to play as a human faction. Fallen Soldier. It's probably the easiest option. Emulated Mind if you want to play as a cyber faction. She has... yeah, so every faction has 3 regular bonuses, a disadvantage, and then an elite bonus. The disadvantage is actually why I would recommend emulated mind for new players, because she only gets a single city, which can make the resource management side of things a lot simpler. Cyber is a bit more complicated in terms of resource management, so that kind of balances it out. Plus, Fortress Armament, she just gets a big gun on all of her cities and can blast things across the map, so it makes things easier in that respect. As for Voice, which is the third affinity, by default you have the Furtive Tribunal and the Untold Prophet. These are the only voice factions in the base game. And they're kind of weird and hard. Furtive Tribunal, according to people on the Discord, is the weakest faction in the game. And I kind of see it, I agree. I think they have the weakest start for sure, and 4X game is about getting a good start and snowballing to victory from there. But this is my favorite faction to play. I do enjoy playing Voice. I do like this faction in particular. I really didn't actually enjoy Untold Prophet, so... You know, they have a rough start, but, you know, a rough start makes things interesting. But from what I understand, I've never actually played Twisted Mother, which, you know, questionable doing this for a tutorial, but, you know, I think this is going to be pretty straightforward from what I've heard of this faction. Because she has Tender Administrations, increased healing rate of all her units if they're adjacent to other allied units, which I kind of feel like she'll be the voice equivalent of Fallen Soldier. So if you have the DLC and want to try Voice, this is probably the better option for you. So yeah, we'll be doing that. And I guess we can read all of that in a moment. Just a couple other things I wanted to mention. So two big issues I have with 4X games. I mean, I love 4X, but there are two things that I generally don't care for. First is that your early game snowball is so important. You need to get a solid start, and once you have a solid start, you just keep building on that and you can get really far ahead. And this is a problem because it means that your late game is kind of just decided by what you did in the early game, which makes your late game not really matter all that much. You kind of know you've won or lost and you just have to play it out anyway. But this game, the snowball still exists, but it's less impactful than it is in something like Civilization or Age of Wonders from my experience. The second thing I really like is that the end game grind is greatly reduced by... is there a setting in here? I thought there was. Maybe it's space parameter? Oh yeah. Escalation quest. Yeah, escalation phase. Yeah, so you can just turn this off if you want to have your traditional endgame where you have to clear out all your opponents to win. Personally, like I know some people really love using their endgame army to wipe out their opponents. But for me personally, like once I know that I've won, I don't really care about going through the motions. I just would rather start a new game at that point. So this escalation pace, I actually really appreciate this as an option, and this is one of the unique things about ZEPHON, which just once you get to a certain point in the game, it just says, okay, we're just gonna arbitrarily be in the end game, and the game's gonna be over very shortly. So that's for me, that's a major selling point of the game. 3 AI, we'll just leave them all on random. Alright, so let's read what the Twisted Mother has going for her. So there are 3 affinities. Human is basically your typical survivors. This is a post-apocalyptic setting. The developers decided that one endgame doomsday scenario wasn't sufficient. Humanity needed to be hit by 3 of those simultaneously. So yeah, the humans, they have it rough. In-game as a faction, they're actually quite good though. Then you have Cyber, which is more a AI machine robot type faction. And then you've got Voice, which is a void tentacle cult worshipping faction. They're pretty weird, but I enjoy them a lot. We'll be getting some fun lore with them. I guess I might as well just mention it too. Yeah, oh man, 10 minutes before I even start. This is what I do sometimes. It's going to be a bit of a slower series because I will be explaining some things. Still faster than probably any other 4X I've played on the channel though. The Warlord I just wanted to mention, because the Twisted and Hollow DLC gives you this guy as well. The other human factions from the base game are all fairly defensive. They're about building up a solid foundation. This guy is highly aggressive. So if you want to play humans but you want a different playstyle, I highly recommend him. He's quite a bit of fun as well. But we will go in Twisted Mother. A voice affinity. Though she isn't aware of it, you have traveled deeper into the voice than she has. So this just means that we get a discount on voice techs, but the human and cyber techs will be more expensive. Not that we'll be getting those. So we start with Devourer, Devotees of Throkos, and an Engineer. Yeah, an early access to voice technology. Gifts of the Voice. When her burning smile is turned to you, you feel so very special. Spend influence to buff your units at a cost. So that's intriguing. We'll see what that's about once we get into the game. Tender Administrations. This is probably why I think Twisted Mother is going to be the easiest of the voice factions. Despite her afflictions, the Mother insists that all her children care for one another. Increased healing rate if adjacent to an allied unit. Abhorrent. Though her kindness is obvious, the Mother's appearance and unreliable personality puts off independence. Gain less from trading packs, so that's her disadvantage. Less effective trade. Trade can make quite a difference, but I probably won't notice this, if I'm being honest. This looks not all that impactful, unless it's significantly less. We'll see. And then Immaculate Delivery, her elite bonus. Her love envelops a target, passing it safely through the bleed to another place. Spend influence to teleport units to allied units. Okay, so I guess this can be used both offensively and defensively to keep your units alive. Experience on units does matter, so this is probably good. We'll see. We take care of our own here. I take care of the rest. So this is her lore. Events tell their own story. One day a town is a bustling prison camp. The next it is empty. Its inhabitants vanished overnight, reappearing miles away. A woman is changed by the necessary sacrifice, and her husband has vanished. The mother started out as a housewife. Her husband worked on the oil fields. She kept the home and the farm. They were the heart of their prepper commune. Having their own family was the next step, whom they both longed for. Life was bliss. Then the sky fell, and we'll be getting into the Doomsday scenario stuff once the game starts properly. Soon, the Akron came, disarmed the people, interned them, performed desperate experiments to find the secret of survival in a world molecularly hostile to their alien bodies. The commune turned gradually into a concentration camp, and the people looked to the couple for leadership. Who knows whether the Akron experiments touched the couple, how their despair reached the voice, what she sacrificed to transport her people so far. All we see is the mother and her people far from their home. Though twisted and transformed, the mother still leads her people, aids them with her uncanny gifts. She's not always aware that she's changed. Something has broken. She forgets herself. But she retains her hospitality, her care, her charm. She just wants to help her neighbors and guests, though woe betide any who turn on those under her protection. Alright. And I will probably read the, when we meet the other leaders, I will read their bonuses as well, just to get a sense for what they are doing. Alright, 13 minutes. This is,
We were not ready for their divine judgment. We were tested, and almost everyone just failed.
So I may or may not commentate over the opening cutscene, we'll see.
Their dark mysticism shattered an era of enlightenment and ushered in the dusk of the 21st century. Billions of lives were lost in a heartbeat, turned to ash, and cast away in the wind. Our soldiers were gone, but our weapons kept fighting, driven by an enigma in the networks. Their surviving forces waged a desperate crusade against the machines. We became bystanders to a relentless war. Now our world is an ever-twisting nightmare. Hellish threats lurk in every whisper and shadow. There is no glory, only survival. Deliver us from this trial. Reclaim our world for mankind.
Okay, so despite there being human, cyber, and voice as the three affinities, you are playing as humans, regardless of which affinity you have. It's just that the types of humans that you get differ. Oh, and I am... Hmm. The game seems to be a little bit choppy. Hopefully that sorts itself out. Never recorded this on OBS before. I don't recall this being an issue, but hopefully this sorts itself out as we go. Right, so, yeah, so Doomsday Scenarios. I'm not entirely sure on the exact ordering of it. The lore, you kind of can piece it together as you play the game. But essentially, there were two things that kind of happened around the same time. The aliens, the Akron, invaded Earth, and ZEPHON, the title-named character, is kind of a rogue AI that just took over and started doing a robot rebellion kind of scenario. And humans kind of got caught in the middle of this war between, like, the aliens came in and ZEPHON rebelled, and fortunately for us, they kind of ended up fighting each other. And during that fight, the aliens managed to destroy enough of ZEPHON's network that ZEPHON no longer had complete control over the planet, but ZEPHON also managed to destroy the alien fleet using humanity's weapons. So the aliens crash landed on the planet as survived. The survivors did. So, and then also during that time, there's the voice, which is, you know, this weird, you know, interdimensional void tentacle cult thing, which happened. So we started getting that, which is more, I guess, kind of like a zombie uprising in terms of, I guess, doomsday scenarios. So that's the third one. All right, so from here,
Nothing to lose but my chains.
we can look around. I think actually it was. Hold on. Controls. There's a thing we can do, and I never remember this control because I rarely use it. Um, display, uh, toggle. It's one of these toggles. Yield overlay. Control plus Y. Okay. Yeah. There we go. All right. So I will not be reading all of the lore, mostly because there's a lot of it. You can see every single thing that we find. Like we found volcanic terrain, and then there's, you know, lore there. We found a region. Found a crystal basin. More lore stuff. Here, I'm not going to worry about all of that. It's interesting, and I do recommend reading it if it's your first time playing. I will read the bleed, because this is a unique feature. The voice's tendrils bled out from one reality and into our own, prying upon a door to madness. These should not have plagued our Earth. Their sickly, slimy extremities reached out in search of flesh, or metal, to ensnare. I can't even escape the sight of them in my sleep. Some nights, often on a full moon, I wake sweating, still feeling the phantom pull of them dragging me to the earth. I assumed this was all in my head, but I've heard the whispers in the mess hall. Others dream of being crushed, too. So the bleed, we can see here, it's this kind of purple stuff. Well, if I disable that, this purple stuff on the map, and if we zoom in, we can kind of see these tentacle growths. That will do damage to our units every single turn. Neutral declared war on us, as they do. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to find a position for our first settlement. So the way that this is going to work is it's going to be our settlement is going to have 2 or 3 building slots. That's what the hex is. And then every tile that we grab adjacent to our settlement is also going to have building slots. And aside from that, you've got all these little bonuses. So you can see this central one here, plus 10% food, plus 20% research. Down here, plus 40% minerals, plus 20% research. That only applies to any structures that we build in that particular slot. So that's kind of how the base building in this works, is you're kind of specializing districts in a way. So here, for example, 40% minerals. If I wanted to set up mines, I'd probably want to do it here. And then the other thing to look at is some of these features. So this one, see 0, this tells you it's a feature. You can't build on it, but it has plus 20% minerals to all adjacent tiles. So the crystal basin does help with that. So we're going to explore around, try to get a little bit more vision before we commit, although we look like we're kind of backed in. There's only one way we can go, and it's minerals, which is kind of more of a human resource. I'm not super excited about this start. This looks pretty bad, to be honest. As a voice faction, I don't really plan on using a whole lot of minerals. We probably use the least. Cyber uses a decent amount as well. So one of the things that I like about ZEPHON that makes this so very different from any other 4X game is the way movement works. So I have 3 movement here, and if I want to move this unit, I could move here, but then my turn ends, even though I still have 2 movement points left over. And that means that if I want to move into this forest, I have to commit and do the entire move in 1 turn. And this means that I'm liable to get ambushed by enemies, because in order to move my units efficiently, I need to rush forward, or I can be slow about things and kind of take my time with it. So I'm gonna... Oh, this is the engineer. Let's... yeah, we'll move the engineer here. Okay, and then for you, we'll move you as well. So I really don't want to be here. The snow is extra research, which isn't bad, but this mineral is not good at all. And so when you're looking for a settlement, generally I like to settle next to one of these basins. Or not a basin, a feature, a landmark, because of the bonus, but I just do not care about minerals. So I'm going to spend a couple of turns looking around. This is going to be a pretty slow start. There's also a goodie pickup here, which I'm just ignoring because I do not really care. Alright. So yeah, here I have 3 movement. I'm going to spend 2 to move into the forest. And then my turn is just done. I'm kind of looking for a new feature. Alright, now we found an enemy unit here. Neutral, so this is really not looking great. This is a weird unit. It has a debuff where it just loses 4 health every single turn. Okay, we moved in range of the enemy. It's a fairly tanky unit, so... Alright, so this looks a bit better. Okay, Temple of Kurla. This is a feature I like. So we get bonus algae and bonus food on adjacent tiles. Algae is only going to be used by voice. Food is used by everybody. Okay, so Temple of Kurla discovered. Again, I recommend reading it for your first time playthrough.
I'm on the clock.
Okay, so we have a cyber cache here. So if I look at this now, what are my resources looking like? My yields. So the actual base structure doesn't matter all that much, because we're going to be having arbitrary structures kind of just put into our base anyway. So being next to this would be nice. Starting with 3 would also be nice, 3 slots. But... come on, go away. I think what we're going to do, we're going to explore with you. Okay, I was kind of afraid of that. So we have water and cliff here. So if we build here, we just lose a bunch of tiles. So I think we actually do want to build back a bit. I'm not too worried about grabbing this right away. We'll maneuver you around so that we can get closer.
Nothing to lose but my chains.
I guess I could read this thing's bonuses here. So, yeah, this is our faction bonus. We got double healing rate adjacent to allied units. But yeah, decaying, we lose 4 health a turn, and then... okay, it's our attack. It has a 20% lifesteal by default. Yeah, these are weird units. Okay, so I'm trying to decide, do I want to build over here, or do I want to just build in this position? I think I kind of just might build here, honestly. This is still all Arctic. Down here we do get desert, which is energy. You know what? Let's actually just go here.
Headed there.
Okay, we found some minerals.
Let's build something great here.
I think building within one tile, like adjacent to this, is nice, but we could have also built further out and expanded towards it. That would be fine too. So yeah, we had 2 slots, which are occupied by the headquarters and the construction yard. So from here, we kind of just need to acquire a tile. This is going to cost us 5 minerals and 5 influence, but that's fine. And I think food and algae are going to be pretty nice early on. Getting a fermentation vat for more algae would be good. Getting a greenhouse farm could be good as well. Those are the 2 resources we're going to care about. So let's expand out that way. Alright. So, yes, we've discovered a city. So turn 4, start. This is honestly one of the slowest starts I think I've ever had. We'll see how it plays out. So we do have the ability to spend influence on these things as well. We can give units bonuses. Let's see, attack, damage reduction, morale loss reduction, but then we lose HP per turns. Does this just last forever? This one we can heal hit points to a unit and remove Mother's Favor from a unit that has Mother's Favor. Okay. I see. So we can buff a unit at the cost of it needing to heal continuously. Interesting. Alright, so research. So you can see we have voice. We could enable human and cyber as well. And then we would have more text available. But we have more voice text, obviously. I'm just going to disable those because I don't plan on getting them. But that is an option. So the way that this works out, you've kind of got the same research for every faction, regardless of your affinity. And then your affinity gives you a few extra things that modify your unit specifically. And then you have a unique tech on each tier for your leader. And we need 3 techs from tier 1 to unlock tier 2. So things that are worth considering early on. Research laboratory, if you want to do any tech research, you're going to have to actually research the ability to do it. Tech from killing enemies is also not bad. Increased algae from, and then, yeah, the ability to generate extra influence also is pretty good. If we want to build more units, Canticle of Dusk, this is going to be our, I guess, our vehicle construction. It's probably what we want. This is a hero, which is also quite nice to have eventually. Just extra algae per turn. There's a bunch of good things, but I'm going to prioritize getting some units. And I generally recommend focusing either on infantry or vehicles. I will be going vehicles with this faction because I feel like the units make the most sense for that. A picnic, she starts before you catch her. The you that pretends nothing has changed, though through her eyes you see concrete walls as white picket fences, minesweepers as gardeners tending their flowers. A tempting fantasy. There's a respectful silence at the city gates. Your followers know you, so give you a moment. You force your sweet delusions deep down and speak for them. A picnic this isn't. Our green and pleasant land is gone. You shift your bulk, ignoring its incessant agonies. That doesn't mean our amity is gone, our friendship, our community. It is on us to prove ourselves again in this new land, this new flesh, and we will. Your friends cheer the platitudes. Still, it is hard that not one looks you in the eye. Okay, so. Now this is a game where we have unit models. So you can see we have 6 little units on the Devotees of Thrakos. Now they have a ×6 modifier for their attack, because there are 6 of them. We have 18 life, so they have 3 life each, which means that for every 3 damage they take, they lose 1/6 of their damage. Large units, the reason I'm bringing this up is that large units only have a single model. So for balance reasons, we get a damaged modifier, where when we're below half health, we just lose 33% accuracy, which is effectively just a damage debuff. I think accuracy is effectively just damage. Alright, so we're going to move here. And this unit has a range attack, which means that we don't take damage for attacking. As you can see, we've now damaged them, so they're going to get reduced damage. And because we are adjacent to an ally, we get double healing, and this thing has 20% lifesteal. So we should get a decent amount of health out of this. Sorry, did I say that their counterattack? I was thinking of something else. It's been a while since I played this game, to be honest. Skip unit. No, let's not skip unit. Fire. Okay, we've taken it out. We gained experience. Our units leveled up. Our city also leveled up, which is nice. And we've discovered Reavers. Yeah, no, there's no counterattack on melee except for certain cases. Alright, so we gained some resources. Okay, and we do own that. So we never actually flagged this. It would be worth flagging, just because it will give us resource. So I'm going to go back and grab those at this point. As for you, you do have an ability, Cataphora, where you can heal. Okay, adjacent to city does not count as adjacent to friendly unit. Good to know. So you are no longer going to decay, and you're going to heal over time, and then you will start decaying again once that runs out. Alright, so clear tile. Removes mines, bleed, ruin, and forest. Well, we cannot build in bleed, so we're going to have to spend a turn, 2 turns, and no resources. Okay, just to clear that so that we can actually build new structures. Cities take a little bit of time to get online, by which I mean they take about 20 turns, in my experience. Oh. Man, this really is like the worst start I've ever had in this game. If only your explorers had been more cautious, but one of them picked up something horrible in the dark corners of the earth, and worse, brought it home to your city. Now the plague is raging through one of your settlements. The strain is highly infectious and virulent, with high death rates. The scientists advise caution. A full lockdown is the only solution. The hunters demand their freedom. What will you do? Alright, so we can have a full lockdown. Open for business, we can go middle measures, or we can ask the anchorites for a cure, but we haven't met the anchorites yet, so that's not an option. So I guess we'll just go lockdown here. Your troops seal the city centers off, confining people to their homes or worse, workplaces, enforcing the curfew brutally. For what seems like an eternity, the city sweats under your measures and survives. You might not be popular anymore or even liked, but you console yourself that the viral strain is eliminated. So we get -3 loyalty, which is a 3% resource debuff for 10 turns. And actually, so yeah, our loyalty here. So every point of loyalty above 0 is a 1% bonus. Every point below 0 is a 2% penalty. Down to 50%. So that is something to keep in mind. Okay. So we just got a penalty there. Canticle of Dusk. Not all alterations of the voice achieve enlightenment, I'm told. Especially those subacrine in some way. Nor do they die. Those failed drift out of the passion, healed but changed, often bestial. I wonder if this is where the Akron's weird creatures come from, failed zealots, or whether they are just creatures native to their world, their home, who join them in their journey across the stars. Alright, so we have the ability... to produce this new structure, which will give us food and algae every turn, and unlock the Dark Vassal, I guess, which is a unit I am very much interested in having. Alright, so... we should probably get research. We do have a lot of Arctic, which gives us bonus, so I'm going to go the research laboratory route. I have gone games where I just don't build them at all, specimen containment is quite good as well. But I will get that going. Alright, population has grown, which reduces our loyalty by 1. And we have 2 population, but only one of them is currently working. The headquarters is free, it doesn't require a worker. So that gives us the ability to put down up to 3 structures here. We'll clean that out. And we can have 3 more buildings worked once we get the growth. So let's get this going. So by default, you can build the Midnight Chorus, which gives you your infantry line as opposed to vehicles. I'm probably not even going to bother with it. I'm just going to go all in on vehicles. That's what I tend to do. Pick one or the other. Yeah, we've cleared the bleed. And once this is done, then we'll finally be able to start producing units. Okay, yeah, you healed up pretty quick. Might as well keep exploring. Just want to to check something. Yeah, you are large. But you're agile, so yeah, you can run through forests. And I think large units still do get... no, non-large. Good to refresh my memory on these things. So you do not get a defensive bonus in the forest, because you are a large unit. Alright. Flag that. We now get 2 minerals a turn. Okay, grabbed some research. Volcanic and fire, so that'll be painful to step on. We'll just go slow. I don't like to rush out. Because we did see there was an enemy in this area. Okay, there's another structure up here. We found suicide drones, which is an item for heroes, so we're not going to worry about that just yet. Okay, and then because we have this, every turn 10, some of these landmarks will give you special global spells, effectively, tactical operations. So this just lets us heal a unit anywhere on the map, and we have 1 charge of it saved. We can stockpile those. Right, you took 4 damage because you ended your turn in bleed. Alright, what do we got here? Gain suicide drones, gain Madrigal of Krilla. Okay, a Reaver over there. Techs, researchers, scientists, they all hold up here. When I was younger, stupider, I thought this was where the soft hid from the harshness of war. That's what they wanted us to think, of course. Some of the most monstrous minds found their place here. Why pull the trigger when you could make the gun? So this will get us 6 research a turn if we build it. Which is probably worth doing. I'm going to grab the hero as my 3rd tech. We will backfill this, but you kind of want to push the tech ahead at the beginning. Arguably, I should have done the hero first. This is already mistakes being made. It's fine. Alright, so if I go here, I could fight you. You see the red dot there? That means you will get your Overwatch counter hit. Yeah, and you are a melee unit as well. Okay, I think I can see a little gray outline here. I'm actually going to run up this way. Yes, okay. It's another one of these. I kind of had a feeling because this had a high mineral value on it. The argument could be made that I should maybe be going into human factories then? Given that I have so many minerals in my starting area, but I didn't settle next to them, so it's not as big. Not as big a deal, it just means that I will basically never have a mineral problem this entire playthrough. Okay, let's go here. ZEPHON can see us from here. That's concerning.
Hi there. What do you want to discuss?
Hello, Move Butterfly. We understand you are calling about our current state of war. Please hold. You may call us ZEPHON. We are a collective of self-integrating, intelligent processes focused on improving the world. We're your best friend. We're your only friend. Our analysis determined that you're a suitable candidate to achieve our goal. You don't mind if we monitor you to verify? Okay, so we've met one of the AI factions. ZEPHON is the cyber faction. There's one for human, there's one for voice. And, okay, looks like Kanao, so the Hollow Warlord is in the game. And ZEPHON has already met this player. And then Chiefess and Anchorite are two other NPC factions. So despite the fact that we're playing with 4 players, there are also 3 NPCs.
We predict you are about to make an offer.
You already read my emails. You know I don't want war, so drop it. We'll try that. I don't really want to be at war with you at the beginning. We just want to improve the world, Mo Butterfly. It is necessary for us to see this through to your end. Their aggressiveness has had a major impact on this decision. Right, so they didn't accept it because we're playing on a high difficulty. Me and the kids were thinking about you. Got you something together. Alright, I don't actually have many resources at this point. So I'm going to offer a medium gift here. Offer a medium amount. You puzzle even our intelligence with such an insignificant contribution. Rather than trouble ourselves with this purpose, we'd rather just decline. Okay, so they were not interested in being our friend from that. Unfortunate. Okay, you're taking a lot of damage. So I'm going to move into the forest because this unit has cover when it ends its turn in ruins and forest, and that also means that it's invisible to the enemy unless it does an auto attack in Overwatch. Okay, we're going to move you adjacent. We're probably going to spend some time healing with both of you. Okay, we've grown. That's nice. Alright. 2 turns until fully healed. Let's just do that. That's a lot of health. 7 turns until dead. Really. Oh, we might as well just do this. Alright, we have built our Canticle of Dust. The one interesting thing about this game is that your buildings all operate independently of each other, so my construction yard can build and my Canticle of Dust can build a unit at the same time. And once we research our hero, we can build it in our headquarters simultaneously, and if we built the Midnight Chorus, we could also be building the Absolute Dragoons also as its own thing. So like, they all operate independently as long as they're functioning. We just don't have enough. We don't have enough algae to be producing this right away. So let's get a fermentation vat. We got a +10 bonus here because of this. We are going to need algae, so we can get that started. I'm also going to go to the Concordant, and I will spend 20 influence to buy 5 algae, just so that I can afford this, and we will start producing this immediately so we can get another unit. We'll take 5 turns. Hopefully, we might have to buy more algae to keep the unit production going. But I want to be basically non-stop producing units at this point, if I can. Whisper of a Goldrauch. There were rumors of a woman who bound her ears, covered her eyes, and, well, what she did to her skin, she wanted to feel nothing. Only the voice. She was the closest any human came to understanding the Akron. She wrapped their pain up in herself and carved out a new purpose. Don't get in her way. So this is our voice hero. Every affinity does have 2 hero units. Biological hovering hero with ranged abilities to heal and summon allies, as well as reveal and damage enemies. It's an interesting hero. I'm probably not actually going to get it right away because you do have 2 heroes per faction. The other one is here, the Elect of Ushodai. And if you look at the cost, you can see this unit is more expensive. And every time you build a hero, all of your heroes become more expensive, but it's percentage based. So if I get this hero first, this will be cheaper relatively to getting this hero first and then this one second. Because this is the more expensive base cost, it'll be more expensive as the second hero by more. So I can save a little bit of resources by building this hero first. And we do want both of those. Aside from that, Tier 2, Habitation Block on Hollow Theater are both really important. You're probably just getting both of those. In fact, we're probably just going to ignore everything else here, because these are obviously the most important things to do. And my unique tech. Okay, Inhuman Kindness, Mother's Favor, Mother's Scorn costs 25% less influence to use. That'll be good to have eventually. Extra Research in Forest is good to pay attention to, I guess. Alright, this allows us to build in bleed. I'm not too concerned about it for now. Anything else here that I really care about? This will be an upgrade for the Dark Vassal, which gives them an ability. This is quite good. I do want that. I also want the Masked Hymnal because this produces overworld spells, but that's, again, something to worry about later. But I think for now we'll get the hero because we do want to start building our heroes. And then we'll worry about the rest of it later. Okay, you are done. Okay, ZEPHON is up here. So let's not go in that direction. Explore a little bit. Bleed. Not all that safe. Okay. So these Reavers, they might attack us. Nope. They are not hostile by default. Okay, so we're going to go here and scout. Another Crystal Basin. Man. I am looking for a spot for a second city. And the fact that I've only found Crystal Basins is ridiculous. This is pretty awful, honestly. Okay, so we could fight you. We get the opening shot. And yeah, we killed 2 models, so your damage is greatly reduced. Then we're going to move here. Moved into Overwatch, so you did get to shoot with your pistol, but pistols aren't super strong. You're scarier in melee because when you attack, you get to use both the pistols and the machetes. Alright, so we will... we'll just take the hit there. Having a few stuttering issues still. I might actually reduce the visuals between parts just because, yeah, like these cicadas, for example, are fairly demanding. I might just go play around with the graphic settings and reduce them slightly because, yeah, it's as okay, another Temple of Krilla. Not a lot of variety here, but okay, we can finish you off. Okay, let's just grab that. So walked into Overwatch and got ambushed. And this unit was hiding in the forest, so we wouldn't have actually seen it before it did that. Well, take that out, get some XP. Okay. You cost a whole bunch of algae. We're just going to need a ton of algae, honestly. You're on a river, though, so we could build a greenhouse. Where else do I want to start building? We do get a research bonus for Arctic, and there is a tech for a research bonus in forests. So if we want to start getting our labs going, it might make sense to expand out this way. So really, it's just a matter of, do I do a second algae fermentation vat? I think I do. Let's just get those going. We gained a Gauntlet of Ruin from that city. Okay, that's or from the cache. So we still have 3 more population. Growth is slowing down because our population is close to our cap. I think you want a difference of about 5. So we need more housing to keep our growth going at maximum speed. Okay, so you will... you're just going to run around. That's fine. Okay, let's grab that. Yeah, you're going to ambush again. But you have a laser gun where you have a powerful hit, and then for 2 turns after using it, you do half damage. You have so much health, honestly, that I'm just going to go. I'm not too worried about it. And yeah, let's just grab this. More suicide drones, okay. And a new unit. Okay, you have slow movement. Yeah, forest slow you down. But we'll come around. And I guess we'll sweep down this way. Not really any reason to fight the AI at this stage. Okay, we produced a Dark Vassal. And yeah, we're short. I am going to go to the Concordant. Spend another 20 influence. And just get that going. So because I haven't actually attacked this thing yet, it hasn't been unleashed, so it's not hostile, even though it's taking those pot shots at me. Alright, gained 2 more madrigals because we have 2 of these now, and it's turn divided by 10. This game generally takes about 100 turns, at least to get into endgame. So, on standard speed, so I mean, we're already a fifth of the way done. Like, this is what I mean about it being so fast, especially early on. These big, brutal beasts freaked me the fuck out. Size of a tank. Arms that ended in blades. And what did they do when resting in HQ? Sit still, speaking in a dead language about deep philosophies of dimensional movement to voice cultists sitting at their feet. Large biological melee hero. Can teleport across the battlefield and castigate enemies on the front lines. Yeah. So we do want to start that. And then, as I said, Habitation and Holo Theater are both very important. We're just going to do one and then the other. And that'll be our access into Tier 3. Okay, well, we could explore a little bit. We have met the Warlord. What? Do I look like I want to chat? I'm watching the live feed of my guys shooting up your... Okay, we can talk. I'm Kanao, and this is paradise. Remember that old world with its concrete, debt, governments, yearbooks, schedules? It just crushed you. So kick back on your bike, have a fancy drink with fruit in it, shoot everyone who doesn't get out of the way. You aren't in the way, are you?
A fellow road warrior!
He's cooperative by default. War? Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely everything. So you kind of get a sense of this guy's personality. Has increased because of our war with ZEPHON.
Excite me!
Any more opinions you want to share? Your road doesn't lead this way, boy. Drive your armies to me and your journey ends here. Back off and you'll carry on riding for a time. Yeah, let's try to be at peace with him and then we can fight ZEPHON together. Sure, but I got a rider, and not just a basket of blue candies. So consider payment for deal. All this haggling and bargaining when I already know the number we're going to settle on. Okay, he is demanding, it looks like 20% of our resources. I'm going to say yes. Would it bake your noodle if I said that was the number I wanted? I do like that the text on these is unique for each leader as well. Do you know the cost of babysitters in the apocalypse? Yeah. No. So again, like these resources, the food and the minerals, I actually just don't care about. Like I have so much of this at this stage. Energy's a little bit annoying. Chips I don't care about. So algae. Algae is the only one that kind of hurts, but it's only 2. Let me be clear, I do not want this. I will hate you forever for making me say this, but yes, peace it is. Your high standing had a major impact on this decision. You have signed a peace treaty, and your standing with Kanao has increased. 2 fools propped together, but can we make it work?
Give me what I want.
Okay, he's going to demand another 10%. Maybe more, actually maybe 25%. Sure. Again, I don't have that many resources, so I don't care at this stage. Always need more. Bike parts, fuel, ammo. Gotta feed the war machine. Your high standing is a major impact. So we are friendly with him. Offer map exchange. Gold, diamonds, information is a mother's best friend. There are more lands to conquer? Tell me. Their limited world knowledge had a major impact. Okay. Standing arm in arm against the darkness. Do I want to just ally with him right off the bat? Bit hokey, I know, but sometimes you... Yes, we are the cliches, and we have to lean into it. Let's see what he has to say about this. Nah, if I did that, I can't bring the Horde to your door, and that day will come. So, their aggressiveness had a factor. Next time I'll bake biscuits, sure. Okay. I'm kind of happy that we're not just allied with him right off the bat. Okay, yeah, he's already got a second base going. Okay, so that means... Let's see. Influence up here. Chips. And healing for mechanical units, that's kind of useless for us. See, recycling tanks. This is what I wanted. I wanted to start next to that. So he's got a bunch of cool stuff. This isn't bad, though. Influence and science. It's also really far. I might try to find another settlement down here. We're still a few turns away from being able to realistically do another settlement, because that is tier 3 tech. Okay, so he's got a hero up here, and that city. Okay, well. Unleashed, but we might as well do that. So yeah, we've discovered a bunch of new zones. Survivor's Bazaar, Sandstorm, Microchip Fabricator, Recycling Tanks, Watchtower. Akron Crash Site, really? Oh. That's what he settled next to. Okay, yeah. Research bonus. Okay, so we got ZEPHON. ZEPHON participating here, and then also being at war with probably the Warlord. Alright, so if we go in here, we got increased healing. We also got cover for being in our outpost. We cannot finish you off. But we'll get the healing. Hammerhead, it's a flying unit, so we can't actually do melee against it. So we only have a single fragile infantry unit that's going to be able to hit it. We built another fermentation vat. Okay, so we're up to 8 algae a turn. We are also starting to run low on energy because every building costs energy and maintenance. So that's another thing to consider. We can build these power plants. We want to build them... Hold on. So yeah, extra research in forests. Which means we don't want to clear the forest. So biomass, extra energy in Arctic. Okay, that is one advantage to our start. Why is this 48 turns? Ah. Yeah. So when you start a trade route with somebody, I meant to say this and I forgot. You get a pretty sizable penalty to all of your resources at the start. So yeah, we can see minus 1.6 food, 2.7 minerals, 1.1 energy, 0 algae, 0 chips, 2.1 influence, and 6.5 research. That will reduce over time, and then we will start getting bonuses. However, our bonuses are going to be smaller because of our faction disadvantage, so I guess we'll just see what that's about. Anyway, in the meantime, I do want you, which is going to be algae, so again, Gordon. Oh, we need more influence. Whoops. I shouldn't have bought so much. Shouldn't have bought that second set. Oh well, mistakes were made. That's fine. We just won't get our hero right away. So we will sleep for now, so that we're not being reminded that we have stuff to do. And we will expand. Okay, so this is Arctic, which will give us extra energy. But if we want research, we're going to want that in a forest. I think the energy will sort itself out because once the trade issue, so I think we'll do research first. All right, so that's been over an hour. Despite all of my yapping and the slow start, we are 20 turns in. This is, by the way, an absolutely abysmal start. Like I've said multiple times, this is probably the worst start I've ever had in this game. That's okay. I'm gonna pull back on that. The one thing that's nice about this start is that we aren't being hemmed in by enemies right off the bat. We do have a lot of space, so we don't have to worry about being attacked right away. It's not like we have a hostile NPC blocking everything. I mean, there might be right down here. Who knows? But this player is quite far from where we were, and he's expanded out this way. So yeah, I don't have to worry about having a border clash right off the bat. So I think it's recoverable. It'll be a little bit slow, but it's fine. But part of, I guess, what I'm trying to show here too is that you really don't have to be optimal. This isn't, even on the highest difficulty, you don't have to play super optimally. I'm still confident that we'll be able to win this. It's just a matter of constantly producing troops and not losing a whole bunch of stuff. Although I did even have, on the highest difficulty, I did have a game where my entire army got wiped and I was still able to win in the end. So as far as difficulty goes, this isn't actually all that hard of a game, to be honest. But yeah, we will continue from here next time. I will see you then.